My dear brothers and sisters, for some Sundays now, Jesus, through our Gospels, has been teaching us lessons of prayer. Kung sinubaybayan niyo po ang mga ebanghelyo nitong mga nakaraang linggo na ating pagsisimba, marirealize natin na ang aral na itinuturo ni Jesus ay tungkol sa panalangin. And so I wish to begin by making a short review of the past lessons that Jesus taught us. Let us begin 3 Sundays ago. 3 linggo lang ang nakararaan. Naaalala niyo pa po ba ang gospel 3 Sundays ago? Parang mga estudyante sa klase, pag tinanong at hindi alam ang sagot, yumuyuko. O kaya kung saan-saan tumitingin. Siguro po kung chismis ang tatanungin ko, baka matandaan natin. Gospel 3 Sundays, October na yan. If you remember our Gospel 3 Sundays ago, the apostles of Jesus made a request. Lord, increase our faith. And Jesus said, if you only have a faith as small as a mustard seed, and you say to this mountain, be lifted up and be thrown into the sea, it will obey you. Jesus was teaching us the importance of faith in our prayer. Kapag tayo'y nananalangin, dapat meron tayong pananampalataya. Now, 2 Sundays ago, siguro naman naaalala nyo na, 2 linggo lang ang nakakaraan. What was our gospel 2 Sundays ago? Wala pa din. You remember the story of the 10 lepers who came to Jesus to ask for healing. And Jesus healed them all, but only one returned to give thanks, to glorify God. What was the lesson about prayer? That prayer is not just about asking. That prayer should also be about thanksgiving. Kapag nagdarasal tayo, wag lang namang hingi ng hingi. Kapag nagdarasal tayo, magpasalamat din tayo sa mga tinanggap nating biyaya mula sa Diyos. Last Sunday, sigurado ko natatandaan nyo na. What was our gospel last Sunday? Clue, parable din siya. Wala pa din. The parable of the persistent widow and the unjust judge. And what was the lesson about prayer? That we should be persevering in our prayer. Dapat hindi sumusuko, hindi pinanghihinaan ng loob sa ating pananalangin. And this Sunday, Jesus concludes His lessons on prayer by teaching us the secret to a powerful prayer. Jesus is telling us, you want your prayer to be heard by God? Then this is the secret. And He told us the story, the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. Both men went to the temple. Both stood before God and both prayed. But at the end of their prayer, Jesus said, only one went home justified, not the former. Only the tax collector went home justified, not the Pharisee. Why? Because the tax collector prayed with a humble heart. And so Jesus teaches us today, if you wish your prayer to be powerful, to be effective, then pray with a humble heart. Huwag tayong mayabang pag nagdarasal tayo, kasi wala naman tayong ipagyayabang sa Diyos. Sometimes we are like the Pharisee who present to God our credentials. We pray to God, but all we say to God are our achievements and the good things that we do. If we do that, like the Pharisee, we will go home unchanged, still focused on ourselves, still trapped in ourselves. But the tax collector cannot even look at God. He simply prayed, "O God, be merciful to me, a sinner." And because of his humility, he went home justified. Our first reading today from the book of Sirach tells us, "The prayer of the lowly pierces the clouds. It does not rest till it reaches its goal, nor will it withdraw till the Most High responds, and the Lord will not delay." Ang panalangin ng mapagpakumbaba ay lumalampas sa mga ulap at hindi daw titigil hanggat hindi nakararating sa Diyos. At ang Diyos hindi magtatagal sa pagtugon sa panalangin ng mapagpakumbaba. If you want your prayer to be powerful, if you want God to respond to your prayer, be humble. Pray with a humble heart. But Jesus does not only tell us about how our prayers could be powerful and effective, Jesus also reminds us that our prayers should have an effect. Hindi dahil natapos na yung panalangin, tapos na. Pagkatapos ng panalangin, may dinadala tayo. We go home like the tax collector. We should go home justified. What does that mean? What does justification mean? Now, justification means being made right with God. Justification means being set right with God. Justification is being made whole, being healed, being renewed by God. And so to be justified is to encounter God and to receive God's salvific blessing to us. Yan yung justification, yung kalugdan tayo ng Diyos. The tax collector went home justified. Ibig sabihin, umuwi siya pagkatapos niyang manalangin na kinalulugdan siya ng Diyos. Hindi lang natapos yung panalangin, tapos na, wala na. Pagkatapos ng panalangin, umalis siya sa templo. Natapos ang kanyang panalangin, pero umuwi siyang kalugod-lugod sa mata ng Diyos. All because that was what he asked from God. He asked God to be merciful to him. And so he received what he asked for. He went home justified, forgiven, healed, renewed, and strengthened by God. Yun ang kanyang hiningi, yun ang pinagkaloob sa kanya ng Diyos. My dear brothers and sisters, St. Paul in our second reading today is an example given to us of humility and being justified. St. Paul was at the end of his life, and he looked back at his life and he declared, I have competed well, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. But St. Paul did not take credit of his accomplishments. St. Paul was quick to say, it was the Lord who stood by me. It was the Lord who gave me strength. It was the Lord who rescued me. That is why I was able to do all these things. Humility. Tinatanggap niya na yung lahat ng kanyang nagawa, hindi dahil malakas at magaling siya, kundi dahil sa tulong ng Diyos. And because of this, St. Paul said, the Lord will bring me safe to His heavenly kingdom. Like the tax collector, St. Paul believes that he will go home justified. My dear brothers and sisters, like the tax collector and the Pharisee, every Sunday we also go up to the temple to pray. Every day we pray to God. But the question is, when we leave, do we go home justified? After attending the Mass, after praying, after leaving this chapel, do you go home justified? It all depends on what you came here and what you are searching for. Ano ba yung hinahanap natin? At kung ano yung hinahanap natin, yun din ang bibit-bitin natin pauwi. My dear brothers and sisters, when you came here before the Mass, was that your desire? To meet God, to experience God? If that was what you asked for, then you will go home justified. At the end of every Mass, the priest dismisses you by saying, "Go in peace. The Mass is ended." At ano po ang sagot ninyo? Thanks be to God. May every time we are dismissed from the Mass and we say thanks be to God, may it be a gratitude, our grateful hearts, an expression of our gratitude to God, because we are sure we are going home justified, renewed, strengthened, and embraced by God's love.